Hello, I'm Lexi, and I have decided to start doing a music blog, or just a blog of interesting things that I find interesting, because I'm cool at that. And it's just me to pass the time, and I like hearing the sound of my own voice, and yeah, anyway, so this is going to be my first list of many that I'm going to call Lexi Loves, and then I'll probably do some more lists of things I don't like, called Lexi Loathes, because I'm cool with words like that. So this is the first list out. This is Lexi Loves. Placebo. Placebo, for anyone who doesn't know, are an awesome band who were formed in the 90s, early 90s, consisting then of Brian Molko, Stefan, and Rob originally, so then replaced by Steve, who's a drummer. Their first album was their self-titled. Second album was Without You I'm Nothing. Third album was Black Market Music. Fourth album Sleeping with Ghosts. Fifth album Meds. Sixth album Battles for the Sun, and they've just done an EP called B3, which is pretty new, and I think it's like a 5-track EP, and it's okay. I'm much more of a fan of their earlier stuff. Without You I'm Nothing and Black Market Music, hands down, really good albums. Without You I'm Nothing was released in 1998. Black Market Music was released 2000. I might have to have a look. I'm running off without consulting Wikipedia. I try not to do that. Obviously, I'm the queen of holding information in my head with song lyrics, so it has to be anything to do with song lyrics. If something's in a song, I can pretty much remember it. General facts and figures, not so good with. So first of all, let's go really with Without You I'm Nothing, because we talk about things that I love. And from that album, we're probably going with Brick Shit House, which is the second track on that album, and it's brutal. It's not something that you'd expect if you listen to Placebo now. Like, if you don't know them, like a lot of their new stuff, you really wouldn't even say it was the same band. It's violent. It's got violence in it, and it's cold. It just sounds really funky because they're cool. Another track I love off that album has got to be My Sweet Prince. It's heartbreakingly sad. Like, I really, it's about heroin. It's about drug abuse. And lyrically, I mean, it's just it's beautiful. I mean, and the way that Brian Molko sings, it's just like he sings, "Me and you, baby, can flush all the pain away." And the way that he sings just that bit, it's just beautiful. And the first time I heard it, I cried, which was really impressive because I was quite young. So to have an emotional connection with a song at such an early age, for me, I must have been about 10 or 11 when I first heard that song. And yeah, it's something you kind of expect when you're a teenager, getting into the whole emo phase kind of part of your teenage years. So it was pretty emotional. It was pretty shocking. I think with Summer's Gone, which is one of the later tracks on the album, is also really beautiful and once again very sad. Placebo themselves have stated that album they're not overly keen on because there's a lot of slow songs on. And yes, Placebo now are a little bit more towards the indie side of things, less heavier, but compared for against their first album, Without You I'm Nothing was a lot more. It was not safer as such because the subjects were still pretty hard hitting, but they criticised it for being more overly produced and more friendly, audience friendly maybe. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. I personally think the guys were wrong. That it was a very good album. But if you look at the production between the first album and the second album, then yes, they did. The game was stepped up, and maybe they wanted a rawer sound. I don't know. But either way, they went ahead with it, and I'm pleased they did. I think it's still their best-selling album. I think. I don't know. It has got Every Me, Every You, which is obviously the one of the songs on the soundtrack to Cruel Intentions, which is a great film. Well, Ryan Phillippe's acting is not so brilliant, but it has a really nice car in it, and it starts with Placebo. There you can't really go wrong. And being female, I did cry. At the end of that film. Hey, it's loud. Black market music, then we're on to as one of my favourite things. It's dark. It's darker than I Am Nothing. It's a bit heavier. I mean, if you look at the singles from that, you've got Taste of Men, Special K, and oh my god, off the top of my head. Either way, they're still really good. Someone add on and correct me. I think my favourite song off that album is probably Commercial for Levi, which is it's a song which is anti-drugs, but written beautifully. I mean, obviously in the lyrical genius that is Brian Marco, I mean, it's so poetic. And it's also got, the music sounds like it shouldn't. Like it's quite childlike. It sounds like it should be, the way it's sung, like the melody to it is quite childlike. It's quite upbeat. And then you listen to the lyrics and it's like, ooh, maybe not. And I like that. I think that's quite clever. Peeping Tom's also incredibly beautiful. Quite haunting. And it's about having such low self-esteem and just idolising a perfect person, which I think most people can relate to at some point. Then we've got one thing I like about this album. Obviously, I'm just running through my favourite tracks on the albums as well. Is my favourite thing about Black Market music is the hidden track at the end of it called Black Market Blood. Get to the end of Peeping Tom, fast forward to about 15 minutes in, and it's there. And it's beautiful. It's incredibly stunning, and also once again very haunting. Not overly heavy, but yeah, it's just about wanting to help someone who's obviously struggling and going a bit loopy, which we know is all fair and good. But yes, so those are the Placebo things I like. I mean, I say love. I love him. I saw him when I was 14, March 1st, 2005, just before I turned 15. It was the first gig I went to, like, with a friend. Like, that wasn't a festival, because I've been to festivals beforehand. And we'd gone to see him at Brixton Academy. And it was the first... No, it was the first day of their London shows. And it was just mind-blowing. Colour of Fire supported, and they were really good. I don't think they're around anymore though, which is quite sad. But like, I was a proper fangirl. That cringy moment where you're just like, oh god. I was standing at the front screaming. I mean, One Directioners had nothing on me than how I was with Placebo. So it was easily one of the best nights of my life. And it's probably one of the best gigs I've ever gone to. The sad thing is, thinking back, I mean, this was 9 years ago. I can't remember how they were on stage. I can't remember at all. I assume they performed really well. The reviews look good. But all I can remember is being hysterical, which is really sad. I've seen them since, and they've done a couple of good shows and bad shows. I've seen them at festivals, and they've both mostly at Reading, and they've had good gigs and bad gigs, and some of them it's like, I don't know, a bit disappointing. But they're still got to be my all-time favourite band, purely because the absolute emotional capacity that their songs have, and how when you listen to one of their albums you can be full of teenage angst that, you know, everyone once had, then mixed with something more adult and more mature. Like songs like Hemoglobin is a great example of this, you know, really gripping on the idea of racism and saying that actually, you know, we're all the same really, and you know, it's makes me feel good about myself when I listen to stuff like that. So yeah, and let's put it this way, I love Placebo so much. I have one of their song lyrics tattooed on the bottom of my back, bit of a tramp stamp. Yeah, I've got "I am the bones you couldn't break" tattooed on the bottom of my back, which is from their song "Battle for the Sun," one of the recent ones actually, one of the new ones of their last album. So definitely worth a band to listen to if you haven't heard them before. You know, they're reasonably big, most people have, but I highly recommend them as something to get into. And if you're going to start listening to them, I would recommend getting Without You I'm Nothing first. Their first album's a little bit brilliant, but a little bit, it's very early 90s style. Things that we don't listen to, that aren't produced so much nowadays. And as this is my first video, I'm going to throw in quickly with the last few minutes, quickly discussing the whole Ian Watkins situation at the moment. I still like Lost Prophets music, I'm not going to lie. I think it's pretty good. I liked it when I was a teenager. Little did I know. No, I'm not going to make any jokes. I'm not going to make any jokes because I think there's probably been enough jokes made about, well, I wouldn't say the poor guy as such, but we've got other band members as well. I'm sure they're probably not overly happy about the whole situation. I like to think innocent until proven guilty, but child porn doesn't just appear on people's computers. And I'm not sure about that one. Either way, if he's found innocent, his life is ruined. Obviously, if he's found guilty, he will go to prison. There's no way he'll get away with this. I can't understand, if he's guilty, why these celebrities think they're above the law. It's not. I mean, it's just one of those things, really. God, how devastated would I be if one of my all-time heroes ended up like that? I ended up having secrets like that. Just shocking. But there's some justice in the world now. These people are getting found out. So on that note, see you later.